Oh, there we go.
Here we go. Good evening.
How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Yes, thanks for the time, Robin and Giles. Very kind of you to come along on a Monday evening and spend time with me.
Our pleasure.
Oh, thanks for having us, Clive.
Well, you're a busy couple, and there's not much we haven't done since last time we met, Giles.
Well, yeah, it's been a really great year, for both of us, and we've really, we really feel like we've taken advantage of a lot of different opportunities in the last year, and really pushed ahead.
Yeah, and the album marketplace tells its own story. You've been busy recording as well, and original material rather than just covers.
Yeah, well, yeah, we're working on Robbin's new album for this year, and last year I've got I did a lot of different recording I've got a wonderful single mic ribbon setup that just gives incredible results, and so I did a lot of different recording in different locations across the world, and I've actually got that together as a 15 track album. So I'm just waiting to see how I release that, but it was a wonderful, very wonderful creative year.
Good. Yeah, I know. I'm reading also about the Up Close with the Blues. So you've got this sort of dual spectacular as well, with you and Robin singing the blues globally.
Yeah, well, we do a lot of touring together. I tour the Up Close with the Blues shows mainly by myself, but Robin also comes in on some of them. And Robin is also really building up as a solo artist in Europe. She's getting a lot of interest in Europe,
Really excited about
so
that,
it's
Clive, to be
fantastic.
traveling throughout Europe and the UK performing. So looking
That's
forward.
good news. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it must have been about a year that we last met. Because you came up to the Maritime studio, then I saw you at the Hundred Club as well. So is that a
Yes.
year ago?
About a year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And time has flown by since then.
Yes.
Yes, it has.
And you guys have got paired up as well.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Well,
Of
we
which
met in
belated
Memphis.
congratulations.
Thank you. Well, we,
Thank
we worked
you.
together then. We've been together. We're coming up to 2 years. We met in Memphis in 2022.
Yeah.
And so we're coming up to our 2 year anniversary in May of this year. Yeah.
Wow. And you're both smiling.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
we're kind of blessed with we've had a lot of disasters in relationships,
Yeah.
but with this one seems to be wonderful,
It's
and has been
beautiful.
wonderful since the beginning, really.
It's beautiful.
And you're actually developing quite a reputation, Giles, as being currently the present maestro of harmonica blues, which is nice to know. Well, you are, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
But it's a skill that you're taking years to hone, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it's a wonderful instrument because it's been so underused. I mean,
Hmm.
it's really, you know, Little Walter and Sonny Boy Williamson really set the templates wonderfully, but they didn't pass on the secrets of how to play it. And so really in the blues boom of the 60s and then throughout the 70s and 80s, it was always badly played. And people didn't know how to fit it into rock music and stuff. But I've stuck with it because I really I mean I do love rock music. There's a lot of rock music I like and a lot of other, but I'm really deeply into blues and as an extension of that, jazz. And so I've really stuck with it because, I could really hear the potential by listening to jazz musicians and different instruments like Memphis Slim's piano or Count Basie's piano
Yeah.
or various sax players and so on, how to extend the range of it a bit and just be as creative as possible on it. So I really enjoy, I really still love it and I'm really engaged with it as an artist,
Yeah.
and still feel there's tremendous possibilities all the time.
Yeah, but it works well. The pianists you mentioned there, Basie and Memphis Slim, both have a lot of space in their music, uh,
Yes.
which is a good place for the harmonica to come in and actually fill the gaps and extemporize.
Yeah, well, really, Basie and Slim, and also Duke Ellington, his solo piano albums, Piano Reflections and Piano in the Foreground, have really been massively important to me. As because the piano is kind of similar to the harp in that it goes from one side to the other. That's my technical, one side to the other. But it's really, it's a really, and you've got very defined treble notes, on the high end of the harp.
Yeah,
But I'm a big fan of space. I'm a big fan of tension and release. But especially Basie is really a big because he was so blues based as well within
yeah,
jazz. A lot of his stuff is just 12 bar blues, but highly imaginatively arranged 12 bar blues.
yeah,
So
yeah.
and also guitar like Django Reinhardt, not for the so much for the melodic stuff, just for the phrasing and the dynamics, and again the space. It's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
and the sensitivity.
Yeah, I think the phrasing is a key thing there, Giles, because you can do so much by playing lots of notes in a hurry, but it doesn't necessarily make music per se, but the phrasing and the space give you time to
Exactly.
actually use the mind more in music.
And dynamics as well. I mean, Little Walter and Sonny Boy were both masters of dynamics, and that's one thing that really has got, because when blues started to get louder in the 70s, the harmonica players started to just really play at one sort of dynamic pitch,
Mm, yeah,
which wasn't a bad thing, but the dynamics on the instrument, because it's so dynamically sensitive, because it's a brass instrument, it's a woodwind instrument, not an electric guitar. That really helps as well, to draw people in and keep them engaged.
yeah. I
It
don't
does
suppose
a
you've got
really
a
good.
harmonica with you, have you, Giles?
Oh yeah, here we go. Here we go. Here's a harmonica. So yeah, so to explain some of that stuff, like Walter would be, and it's the same with Django Reinhardt. Just these sudden, he's not like Django and Little Walter. They're not afraid to get ugly. So they'll be going and then put in a and then back to all of that stuff gives the music depth and real interest to the audience.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
Do you want
beautiful to watch the reaction of the audience, Clive. I've been to several shows that I didn't actually perform on. I was just there as a supportive partner and enjoying the show. And to see their faces and how he holds the audience with that dynamic, and each time I'm blown away. And I've seen all of his shows, and I'm still blown away by the way he reels in the audience. I would say he just brings them in.
Yeah, that's a really interesting perspective, Robin, because by being there with the audience who don't necessarily know you're connected, you can get a feeling for how the soul of the music is connecting, can't you? And
Yes,
it sort of connects and bonds together, doesn't it, in that way?
yes, yes.
Yeah, so it's really, it's been, I really, I say to people when I'm talking to, I'm still as engaged as I was, if not more engaged as when I started it. But for me, it's been a miraculous, bizarre thing, because I've been into it since I've been 14. And really, I'm 40, coming up to 46. So it's been 32 years of commitment and love towards the instrument and the music. And I'm really thankful for it. It's been a real blessing, I feel.
Yeah, yeah. Is there space for you to busk a number for us now during this session?
Yeah, well, let's do one together. Let's do one with I'll do one with Robin. Let's do Help Me by
Oh,
Sonny
sure,
Boy
sure, sure,
Williamson.
sure. Okay.
And this is one of Robin's, because Robin was born on the south side of Chicago, and she's
Yeah.
really got that when you hear her speak, that wonderful sense of rhythm. So we'll do a real south side so Sonny Boy Williamson's Help Me.
You gotta help me. I can't do it all by myself. You gotta help me, baby. I can't do it all by myself. Oh, help me, darling. Oh, I gotta find myself somebody else. Listen, I may have to wash, I might have to sew, I may have to cook. I'll even mop that floor, but you help me, baby. I can't do it all by myself. Oh, help me, darling. Oh, I gotta find myself somebody else. Come on, John. Let me.
The bad news is the harmonica doesn't come over so well on the audio. Robin's vocal was great, but the harmonica is getting masked a little bit.
Okay.
So, so I think
Let's just see if we can do something with the audio settings.
okay.
See if they said if you play music.
Mhm.
Oh, original sound for musicians. There we go.
Ah,
Okay.
Okay, great. We've done that. So
Exhale. Play a little bit, see what it says.
let's try it again.
okay.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Pressing.
I can't do it all by myself. Oh, help me, darling. Oh, I gotta find myself somebody else.
How's that?
It's still not coming through. I think the vocals by the harmonica is still getting masked. We better do this just as a chat session. I think Giles and Robin
Okay.
I mean, it's disappointing that it hasn't worked that way.
Oh.
I can record something over here on my mic and then send over a file.
Okay, that'd be great. So I've got something. Yeah, super.
Yeah,
Thanks. But in the meanwhile, let's just carry on with a bit of chat for 5 or 10 minutes, so we can bring the listeners up to date with what you've been doing. And of course, Robin was live on Maritime Radio about a year ago, giving us the whole background on your musical story. And Giles, as we said, has become kind of the default go-to harmonica player. Growing up, Giles, who you obviously mentioned the key players like Walter and Sonny Boy growing up. How did you come to get hooked on the harmonica as a youngster?
Well, I went on I played violin and saxophone, and I was I was really into big, because I used to watch all the old movies back in the day. They used to have back in the day they used to have uh, all the old movies on TV, on Radio 2, on BBC Two, and so on. And I got really hooked into big band swing. I tried to play the sax, but my saxophone teacher at the time was really into acid jazz and smooth jazz with keyboards. So it really wasn't what I was looking for. And then in Toledo in Spain, I'd heard the harmonica on the Roseanne theme tune on that sitcom and also the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air briefly. And I saw one in a music shop in Toledo in Spain, a blues harp, picked it up and just really fell in love with how it looked and started to try to play it. And when I got back to Jersey, literally the week I got back to Jersey, Cephas and Wiggins, the Piedmont style harmonica and guitar duo, acoustic guitar duo, were in Jersey. And I just got absolutely hooked. And that was the time, this was 92.
Yeah,
So that was the time there was a massive blues boom. They had Eric Clapton Unplugged, Gary Moore, still got the blues for you. Stevie Ray Vaughan had just passed away, but has cast a massive sort of shadow over all of it. And everyone in school wanted Fender Stratocasters like Clapton and stuff. So it was a genuine blues boom. But I remember there was an omnibus BBC documentary on a Wednesday night on TV called Sweet Home Chicago, which I finally tracked a copy down of. And that really got me. The Robert Nighthawk on, there's footage of Robert Nighthawk on Maxwell Street. There was Howling Wolf on the Shindig show with the Rolling Stones, Muddy Waters at Newport, Sonny Boy, Buddy Guy, all of the stuff that's now, easy to come by on YouTube
yeah,
was like incredibly powerful to me. And I think mainly looking back on it was the rhythm of the music,
yeah,
that really got me. And so really I was just deeply into African American blues from the get-go. And then I stretched out into jazz as well, as my interest.
Yeah, because you mentioned that. I mean, the thing about blues and with harmonica particularly is the tempo thing. Rock and roll was kind of an up tempo thing. There
Yeah,
are up tempo. Something like Duke that was playing on the radio just today is up
yeah.
tempo, but mainly harmonica based rhythm and blues is kind of verging on mid tempo. Jimmy Reed is kind of inebriated, slurred. James Cotton kind of is perhaps more energetic than some. Sonny Boy certainly captures all moods. With Your Funeral, My Trial to Help Me, and that's and Bye Bye Bird, the sort of the fast, medium, and slow. So it's probably an instrument that you can actually blend to your own mood at any given time, Giles.
Well, the really the whole trick of it, and the whole trick of blues is the rhythm, and the feeling. And that's one thing that when I'm touring with people like John Primer and Joe Lewis Walker and Billy Branch, they've all told me that I've got that feeling. And it's really amazing because it really creates a wonderful connection with these legendary musicians. You see, this is why the blues has been so misunderstood, because it's a very subtle thing. It's not like a striking melody. It's the feeling that you put into the playing, um,
Yes.
and the rhythm that you put into the playing, which is
Yeah.
something I've studied very hard, and it really still makes a massive difference on the audience reaction. I mean, it's an incredible thing.
Yeah.
And it was one thing that I noticed when I was growing up, and I'd listen to the black artists in comparison to the white artists, and really that was the big difference, was the rhythmic sensibility. Even some of the top white blues harmonica players, they didn't have that rhythmic sensibility and feel. They had all the notes and all the
Yeah.
tone and all the detail, but not that rhythmic sensibility. And really, that's the thing that I try and strive to get.
Yeah, I think that's a key factor which has been described many times over the years. There are people who can play rock and roll, but they don't have the feeling for rock and roll. But as you just described there, being able to fit into the music and the moods and the nuances of it, which someone like perhaps Charlie Musselwhite on a bad day might sort of think, or Bruce Chanel in the days of Hey Baby, the strata of harmonica was there, but the feeling of a waltz or a Sonny Boy, or even a Jimmy Reed. Reed wasn't the best harmonica players; it was more of a tool for him rather than an instrument, I think. But they still managed to have a mood, didn't they?
Well, they were really amazing, because you can go and you can go to a blues festival and hear a band, and they've got all the gear, and they're dedicated, and they're lovely people, and they're dressed up, and they've learned all the songs, but that slight the feeling is out, and it can sort of be like an hour and a half. Their set can be like an hour and a half of hell, because everything's there but is not there. So
Yeah,
it's a very subtle thing, and really, but you see, the beauty of it is that it's starting to come into its own again, in the 21st century, because it never translated that well to record. Yes, there's been absolutely amazing blues records, but it never sold greatly because it wasn't melodic. It was rhythmically based.
yeah,
And now that we're much more in a live, records are pretty much non-profit making, and a bit of an irrelevance now. We're more into like a singles, digital single sort of environment, with all the emphasis being placed on the live show. But traditional blues is coming into its own, because you can go to a show as an audience member and not know the songs and enjoy them instantly.
yeah,
Whereas if you're trying to present complicated new songs with intros, verses, bridges, and originality, and the audience haven't got that familiar with them, then it's harder to introduce that material. So
yeah,
really, it's an exciting time for live 12-bar blues.
yeah. And it tends to come over better in a club environment than in a concert hall, does it not? The blues?
Yeah, well, I mean, really, that's what I try and do. I make my money by playing to as few people as possible. So anywhere between 30 to 60 people, but at a higher ticket price, because it's smaller and more exclusive.
Yeah,
But you can still get a good response in a concert hall, even as a duo, because you've got all that space, the drama and the space to play
yeah,
with. But really, it's always been it's the same with jazz. It's the intimacy that really makes it special, and that's not a bad thing, because it gives you more longevity, and it also means repeat customers, because I'll do these small shows at venues, but I have a series of shows at these venues throughout the year. sometimes people come and see you 5 or 6 times, you know, because they get addicted to the small environment. But if you
Yeah.
go into a town and do a 200, 300 capacity theatre and you only half fill it, people will go once and probably not come back and see you again, you know.
Yeah, yeah. There's an irony there because when my introduction to the blues was back in 63, 64, 65, with the Lipman and Rowell tours coming over. So I first saw Jimmy Reed at
Oh
Hammersmith
wow,
Odeon, for goodness sake, and John
wow,
Lee Hooker likewise, and also at the Albert Hall with Earl Hooker.
oh wow,
And thinking back to those days of seeing these guys who were basically driven by Southside Chicago bars, but seeing
yeah,
them in a British concert with 2,000-seater concert hall, they managed it and it worked because I think we were so enthusiastic about
yeah,
seeing these guys for the first time. And
Right.
I went to see any black artist that come over. I mean, it's different now. Music has got no color boundary now, but at that time we were hooked on seeing every black artist. So I saw Count Basie, I saw Jimmy Reed. I saw Cab Calloway.
wow.
You just went to see any artist who came over because you wanted to get involved with the music. It's the culture that you were learning. This was at the age of 18, for goodness sake. So I was still learning. But
That's
it was,
amazing.
as you imagine, quite a steep learning curve.
Well, that's you know, it's beautiful to hear that, you know, because you know, I'd kill to be able to go back in a time machine and check out all these guys. But it's fascinating, you know, because the one guy that I've really studied, Memphis Slim, you know, he's sort of he's not as popular because he's less known because he moved to Europe, but also he did the, you know, he morphed his 12 bar blues into he still stuck with the 12 bar blues, but it's
Mm.
been fascinating to learn about him because he created a sort of a very fine polished 12 bar blues for those sort of theaters, you know,
Yeah,
all across Europe and the UK. And he had a sort of a jazz drummer, Michel Denny, who met last year. But he, you know, he created a sort of a hybrid form to fit into theaters and stuff, you know,
yeah, yeah,
which has helped me. That's really helped me with my small shows because try and play a lot of upscale venues, you know,
yeah.
and that's really helped me, you know, also the sense of dynamics and entertainment and presentation.
Yeah, yeah. Now, speaking of presentation, you mentioned Robin's got a new album in the works. How's that coming and when's that coming out? And Giles, you've got a couple already on the market that you might like to promote a bit more.
Yeah, well, do you want to tell them about your new project?
Oh, this will be my first solo album after 10 years with my band Vintage Number 18. And now I've moved forward on my own and I'm concentrating on blues. My last two projects were a mixture of soul and blues. This one is definitely diving into more 12 bar blues. And there are three originals from Chicago, two Chicago songwriters, Terry Abramson and Derek Purcell.
Yeah, and Terry wrote Bus Driver and Electric Man for Muddy Waters, so he's got a
Okay, a good
strong,
pedigree.
strong pedigree. Yeah, yeah.
Some really good tunes they've shared with me. And then I would say some very well thought out covers that I plan that I've actually never heard. A lot of them I've never heard covered before. So this will be exciting. So we're going to the studio beginning of the summer and we'll see where we go from there. But I'm really excited about it because it's a solo project. And I've been with the band for so long. It's like, wow, this is different. It's exciting. It's me.
So we look
One-
forward to autumn coming in a Robbin Kapsalis special. That should be a
I think it's going to be
great idea.
a great album.
Yeah, so yeah, we've been working on it. Giles is producing it and he's also playing on it. And we have a couple of guests. We There'll be nice surprises when you hear the album, but we have a couple of guests who will contribute to the album as well. So it should be really cool.
I'm
Yeah, and
looking
I've
very
got
much forward to that.
it's going to be great, and really it's really going to showcase Robin's voice front and center, and we're excited about it. We started to demo it, and you know the results are sounding amazing. So, and I've got I basically put all the recordings that I did since November 22 into a 15 track album. You know the majority of them,
Yeah,
and so I've got stuff recorded in Clarksdale, on the streets of Clarksdale, Mississippi, in the Grand Hotel ballroom of the Grand Hotel Bohemia in Prague,
Mhm.
also stuff recorded in France
In
and
Greece.
and in Greece as well. So it's yeah, I'm excited. We're just the way I'm just looking at new ways of releasing it. I'll probably release it digitally and then do CDs on demand direct from my website or Facebook page. Because I'm really looking at different ways of selling now,
Yeah, yeah. So I'll try and drive traffic to your website, Giles. Well, I know you've got a merch page on there. I've just been looking at that anyway. So I'm going to go and buy an album by Giles Robson anyway. It's nice, like getting free ones, but every now and again you think I've got to put my soul where your soul is, and
Oh,
you
thank you.
you do this to make a living, mate. You don't make.
Well, we do, we're really, it's an exciting time for live musicians because there's so much you can do now by yourself
True.
to make profit. And it's been an exciting couple of years because certainly for me, the lockdown, the COVID situation gave me a lot of time to think and restructure what I do. And it's been exciting because I'm self-producing a lot of my own shows now. And
Yeah,
that's really, and I think that's really helped me improve, over the last 2 years because I've been playing so much live.
yeah,
It's just really helped me improve because um, it was the gig scene, within the blues world can be quite sporadic because it's shrinking quite a lot. So if you can create your own new shows, you can be gigging as much as you want. And I've really been gigging a lot. And it's been an exciting time because it's probably been the most joined together sort of couple of years of gigging that I've ever done. So
okay. I've got a running out of time message on my screen here, Giles and Robin. So what I better do is now is A, I'll drive traffic to your website to buy the merch. B, if you get a couple of minutes, if you want to put down 2 or 3 tracks audio for me, and I'll send you my email address via Messenger, and I'll
wonderful.
try to get this put together. I probably won't go out this Thursday. It might be too much editing to do, but either this Thursday or next Thursday, live on Maritime will be the Robbin Kapsalis and Giles Robson special.
Oh,
Fantastic, Clive.
wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much,
Thank you
Clive.
so
Thanks for
much.
having us.
Thanks for sparing your time. Have a nice evening.
All the
You
very
too.
best.
Cheers. Bye now.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.